Now, where can I put you? Can I put candles in the back, though? Where could I put candles? Are there any surfaces being shown? Are you being shown? You're being shown. Candle. Where's a candle? Baby, it's been a minute since I had something so sweet. Can you see that, Lola? Oh, sorry, just trying to make sure if you can see that. Okay, you can. Woo! Hey! 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 Woo, really having to get myself into this one, you guys. I'm not feeling it. Hi, world. Hi, world. Hi, world. It's me, Caleb Postway Corsino, aka C613B. It's been a minute since I filmed last, simply because, well, life is life. Hey! And basically, ever since I filmed the last video, like, so much of my life has changed so much since my last video that I'm like, there's a lot to go over. Oh, and my necklace isn't even lined up, and y'all didn't tell me. That's weird. There's a good amount to go over. So we're gonna go over this chill, and we're not gonna really stress too much of the details in the beginning because I was gonna set my mic up to film yesterday and record, and then I just like got too in my head about recording and got too like perfectionist about recording and being like, well, the lighting needs to be perfect. The audio needs to be perfect. And whenever I get like that, I just end up not making anything, and I end up like not putting anything out. So I've decided I had to get it out. I had to get something out. If you see my last video, you know sometimes I just have to get it out. And it's hot as bone in here. It's so hot because I didn't want to have the fan on, because if the fan was on, people are always like, girl, your fan's going fast as hell in the background. Well, girl, I live in Florida. It's hot. Like, thank you. Anyway. So the objective of today's video basically is I want to go over some things that have happened in my life since my last video, my Skyrim video, and I also want to talk about my upcoming release, Ultraviolent by Caleb Corsino, of March 2021 fame, actually. So Ultraviolent is a song, I'm just getting straight into it. And we know this. If you've ever watched my YouTube videos before, the first 5 minutes, buffer period. Let Caleb get into his personality. Autism exists, and sometimes it's really hard for me to like center in on who I am as a person whenever I film, because I'm like, YouTube, the boo-boo, the boo-boo. It's so astronomically silent in my room, Jesus Christ. Very silent, which is great because I need the silence for the video. You know what? Let me check this. Let me check the way this footage looks real quick. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna hit pause. Back from checking the footage. It looks pretty good. Here's what I noticed while I was gone. I took a sip of my coffee. I made a coffee. The coffee doesn't have enough brown sugar in it. I'm gonna go add some more. Be right back. Also, literally, okay, so I gotta stand up. Like, y'all know, I gotta like, getting into... Here's my issue with recording YouTube videos and making YouTube videos in general. I love to make YouTube videos. I love to edit YouTube videos. I love to go back years later and watch my YouTube videos and be like, who's that? That's not how I act right now. That's a different person. I have personality issues. I love all of those things. Also, that wasn't me pausing like doing a that wasn't me pausing. Oh, girl, and now my bandit's messed up. My bandit. Oh, girl. Girl. Men shout. It looks fine. In fact, I'd make the argument that it looks better than it did before. I'll be right back. Oh, that's what I was saying. So the thing with me recording YouTube videos and the thing with me doing YouTube in general is that I love to edit YouTube videos, and I love to go back years later and watch my YouTube videos and like see the way that I act different to the way that I act now, especially now that I'm on my medication. We'll be talking more on that later. The issue is that I film so infrequently that every time I sit down to film, my body's like, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I'm who am I? I'm AI. I'm AI. Labubu Dubai AI. Labubu has the same letters that Dubai has. Dubai has the same letters that AI has. Is no one putting this together? Okay. Oh, that's what I was saying. So that's the thing with me recording, is that if I take the time to like make the video look good, make the audio sound good and all of that, the video's never gonna come out. So this is on the iPhone, this is iPhone audio, like we're doing all that. Anyway, something I've also started doing in my last couple of videos that I've recorded is literally listening to music or podcast or videos while I'm filming to try to like get me more comfortable. So I will be listening to KDB play Poppy's Playtime as I do this. Just to keep myself sane and not feel like I'm going crazy. Man child. I'll be right back. I gotta put sugar in my coffee. You've already heard me say that. I'm gonna pause the video. You don't get to see the behind the scenes. So here's the thing though. Here's what I have noticed. Is that, oh, camera's in frame. Coffee's in frame. So everything that I've said before this moment that I'm talking right now doesn't count. You guys know that in the beginning of my videos, we have to like get into it, we have to warm up. So anything that I've said before this moment right now does not count. It's 6/26, September 4th, 2025. Nothing I've said before counts. Let's get into it. I don't like the video that I'm watching in the background. It's not silly enough for me. I need more like silly comedy. So I'm gonna be watching Artist on Artist on Artist on Artist, my favorite podcast of all time. Oh my god, Jeremy Colhane, who's now on SNL. We've DM'd each other. I've DM'd an SNL cast member. Y'all are mad. Anyway, okay, so here's what we're doing. And now my laundry's done. Yes! Basically, the goal of this video is that I just want to talk about updates in my life. Different things that have changed since my last video. I also want to talk about Ultraviolent, my single coming out tonight. And tonight as of recording this, which is September 4th, 2025. And then I'm also excited because I will be talking about a new project I'm working on called Works in Progress. And yeah, we're gonna talk more about that. You guys, I hate recording YouTube videos. I love recording YouTube videos, but I hate recording YouTube videos because I hate myself. Like, and that's really just where it comes from. I just don't like myself that much. Anyway. Okay. So we're just gonna get into it. We're gonna start talking about things. I'm gonna turn this off actually because it was working in the sense where it's like, oh, okay, chill background music, chill background music. It is kind of distracting me though because now I actually have to start talking. God, I already feel like I'm being so annoying and obnoxious and not like myself at all. But you know what's really sad? I am being annoying and obnoxious. I am being annoying and obnoxious, and that is me. So that's the thing. Where's my background music, bro? P is for hey! Okay, I'm listening to Stardew Valley music. That's pretty good. So basically, let's get into the objective of this video. As we know, in my YouTube videos, whenever I just want to talk about things, I have an objective that I'm doing, but it doesn't actually matter. It has nothing to do with the video, really. It's just so that way I can keep track of, like, once I'm finished with my objective, the video's over. Because if not, I could talk here for 30 minutes, 30 plus hour, 30 minutes. Woo! I'm feeling really out of it today, you guys. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. It could have to be with the... Ooh. It could have something to do with the fact that it is really hot in here because I don't have my fan turned on. And I am, as of right now, on SSRIs that do make me very susceptible to heat and fatigue. And I'm feeling like... We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. So as of filming this right now, when it comes to the actual works in progress project that I will be putting out sometime soon, everything is essentially finished except for some of the vocal tracks. So I need to work on the vocals. Editing and mixing on Rebirth. I need to do a final pass mixing on A Golden Summer Solstice. I need to do a final pass on Works in Progress Infomercial. I need to record all of the vocals of Topaz. And then I need to sort of do like a last vocal pass on Muckin' About. Other than that, album is ready to come out, you guys. When it comes to like Ultraviolent, the only things that as of right now I have not completed are I need a canvas. I need to make a YouTube video about ultraviolent. Say hi, you're on camera now. And then I need to do a live cover because it's been so long since I've recorded ultraviolent that I want to be able to record it now and sing so people can hear that my voice has changed. Because I don't sound a million times better than I did in 2021/2023, but I definitely sing very different than I used to, so. Anyway, still feel like I'm being annoying and not myself. That's a fun thing I always have to live with. What else has happened since my last video? Me saying what else has happened like I've touched on literally anything. Like I've talked about anything in relevance to the last video. Let's just, you know what? Let's cut to the chase. Let's stop trying to make this objective happen. Let's stop trying to, girl, I'm feeling so annoyed. It's hot. It's hot. I'm sorry. The fan's gotta go on. The fan's gotta go on. I'm sorry to everyone. I'm so sorry to everyone. I'm sorry to everyone. It's gonna look stupid in the back. I'm sorry. It is hot as bone in here and I just can't do it. Woo! Okay. I'm listening to one of my favorite Stardew Valley songs, The Sun Can Bon. You know what's crazy is I always stutter when I speak and I always like miss-say things, but whenever I'm recording, it feels extra like, it almost feels like I'm doing it as a bit, like a millennial bit, like, oops. No, girl, I just misspeak all the time and I have a lisp, and when I speak, a lot of saliva builds in my mouth and it gets hard for me to speak clearly. I also don't have an education, so whenever I speak, sometimes I genuinely forget how things are said or how to use them in a phrase, in a sentence, as of just right now, like I just did then. Okay, so I'm just gonna shut up. I'm not gonna worry about the objective of this video or making sure this video like comes off as a good first impression for people. I'm not gonna worry about this video being like well paced or structured. Girl, we're just gonna get into it because the works in progress energy and the works in progress way of life is putting stuff out, because if you don't, you could die and it could never matter. Truly. That's honestly why I started working on the project that I'm working on, works in progress, because sometimes you just have like albums and albums and albums of songs on your computer and then you think, well, girl, what if I died? All of this would have been for nothing. Obviously, I got like artistic joy out of creating it and it was cathartic to like help me release my emotions, but girl, the people want to listen. Like, I need to release. Anyway, so here are the notes that I have as of yesterday. Don't judge my handwriting, don't judge my drawing, don't judge any of that, because if you do, I will show up to your house with a bomb. Oops. So yeah, September 3rd, 2025, and it's basically just like all of my different like notes on like, girl, we got a mix, we got a vocal, all that nonsense. But we're gonna start another one because basically the only way that I'm gonna keep myself sane while I'm recording this and not get off track and be like, girl, screw this, I wanna do something else, is I'm gonna be drawing while I'm talking. I'm not the best drawer in the world. I draw simply just for fun. Once again, if you say something negative, I will show up to your house with a gun. Okay, so let's get into it. Actually, I'm gonna take a couple minutes of a break because my sinuses are really getting me right now, and also I just feel really annoying and kind of like I want to. So I'm back. I'm still not back fully in filming mode. Like, I'm definitely still feeling very insecure and very annoying and very obnoxious. But like I've said earlier in this same video, those are traits that I unfortunately am just gonna have to live with. Those are a part of me, and that's not necessarily a negative thing. It's just something I have to learn to love. So here we are. Let's get back to what we were doing, which was honestly nothing. We hadn't really even started. My pen's over there. Girl, I'm gonna... Wish this was a different kind of pen. Okay, so basically what I'm gonna talk about while I'm drawing this, which is just like a random thing, is ultraviolent. So there's a lot that could be said about ultraviolent as a song. In fact, I think I'm going to save a lot of what I want to say about ultraviolent for a High World Love Caleb episode specifically about ultraviolent. Because there's just genuinely so much lore to go over, and there's so much that happened with that song as I was making it. So we're going to save a lot of that behind the scenes stuff for High World Love Caleb, the ultraviolent episode, which also could never come. Anyway, so basically, the reason why this song is coming out right now, and the reason why I'm working on this project, Works in Progress, is because this has just been one of those years where it's been... I took the AirPod out. Someone's feeling more comfortable. This has just been one of those years where every couple of months, not even every couple of months, every couple of weeks, I have this thought, and I go, so what if we all just died? And it's not even necessarily like a nihilist thought of like, oh, blah, 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 because I've definitely been dealing with a lot of like doomer mentality of things. As you may know, the world is kind of in shambles right now for a lot of different reasons. And so because of that, as someone with OCD and like for a while was unmedicated with anxiety, it can be very hard to sort of like distance yourself from those things And I don't mean distance yourself from those things in a way of like, this doesn't affect me, so it doesn't matter to me. I mean distance yourself from like, this isn't happening to me right now, so I cannot be harboring the stress and guilt and fear of this happening, because simply I just won't be able to go on, like move on. And I don't mean move on like it doesn't matter. I mean like, I still have to go to work and pay for my iPhone and my car. Like, unfortunately, the car that I don't drive, that I fully own. Unfortunately, there are just some things that have to continue on. And because of that, I just found myself using social media in a very different way, where I was like, you know what? Let me look at all of the horrible stuff going on in the world 24/7. Let me just fill my brain with it constantly, so that way I'm always aware of it happening. And then, of course, when stuff like that happens, you kind of get down a really dark path of like, now you're constantly almost informing yourself too much, to the point where you can't even live day to day because there's so much going on. And there is so much going on, and we should always be aware of that 100%. I don't have the means to do much. And I don't mean like, oh my God, there's nothing we can do, girl, the government, No, I mean like, I don't have much autonomy over my own life, genuinely. Like, the things that I do and that I get away with blow my mind every time, because I genuinely just don't have that much autonomy over my own life. Once again, one day I will tell all those stories. But for now, so I really got into a bad habit of like looking at everything and constantly feeling awful all the time, to the point where I wasn't even really working on music. I wasn't working on anything creative, because it started to feel like, well, why would I work on music to have a career in 10 years when there's not going to be a 10 years, because we're all going to be dead? And is there truth to that? Maybe. There could be truth to that. Do I know that? No. And so until I know that for sure, it's not healthy to be going around with this idea where it's like, well, girl, we're already over, so why do anything? We're not over. I'm here right now. I was thinking this back in April. Like, I was like, girl, it's all over. We're all over. Here it is. We're in September. Are things considerably worse in the world than they were in August or April? Well, yes. Am I still here? Well, yes. Like, I need to just chill out. Sometimes I really catastrophize things to the point where it's like, everything evil and doom and gloom in the world is headed my way. Even though it has nothing to do with me. And it's not even like, I'm so important, this has to do with me. It's more like, everyone's gonna kill me and everything's evil. Like, I don't know, if you have OCD, you get it. So when I was having those feelings a lot in the beginning of the year, I wasn't working on music. I wasn't really doing anything creative. I wasn't living fully. I was just sort of going through the motions and doing things. And then I honestly just started, what song did I start working on? I started working on an EP called Junk Drawer, which I'm a pretty big fan of. I still think I'll be releasing one day. Of just like random synth songs that had no tie-in to each other. Like, I think my issue also with music is that when I make music, I have such a storyline and so much lore and such a like universe in my head that whenever I make music, I'm like, well, where does this fit with this? Where does this go into this? To the point where, once again, I just don't release anything because there's too much context dependent stuff in my music that it's like, well, girl, if you don't know this reference, what's the point of listening to this song? People don't think like that. Consumers don't think like that. Fans don't think like that. They don't know the lore. They don't care. They want to listen to the music. I need to get over myself. Genuinely. That's not me even being self-deprecative. I need to get over myself. It's so ridiculous how much I would just stress out over things like that. And so, during that time, I had decided to get on medication for my mental illness. Well, it wasn't really like a split I had decided moment. This is something I've been battling with my family for the last 20 years of getting medication, and finally something switched where it was like, maybe we should. Because in January I had like a really horrible mental breakdown. I stay having like annual mental breakdowns, and my family's like, y'all hear that? No. But this time they were like, maybe let's do something. So I started looking into some things, and I got on some different things. I'm not going to say what I got on because I feel like that is a level of like personal stuff that maybe I shouldn't share. I mean, girl, you have to use your face. You have to literally put in your ID. Girl. You have to put your ID on YouTube to even watch stuff if YouTube thinks you're under 18. So it's like, girl, when it comes to surveillance and me like being worried about my personal information, girl, we're too far gone. Who cares? But I'm not going to say the medication I'm on just because I don't want people getting in my head of like, well, really, you're on this medication, blah, 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 blah. No. But I will say the medicine has drastically improved my quality of life. Like, I was watching my YouTube video from, I believe it was April, the Skyrim one, and I was like, oh, the editing in this is very fun. The background music in this is very fun. Wow, I'm really obnoxious. Wow, I'm really doing too much in this video, and I'm very clearly trying to make up for the fact that I am anxious. And in a way, I'm doing that now. Like, I'm still trying to make up for the fact that I'm anxious. I'm shaking the pan. I'm doing all that. But I think my anxiety now stems from such a different place of like, I'm anxious, so this is something I have to deal with, but I know why it's happening and I'm just going to sort of breathe through it. Versus I used to just have these anxious meltdowns out of nowhere and I'd be like, okay, so why though? And there was no way for me to solve it. There was no way for me to like remedy myself or mediate my own emotions. Sort of like there was nothing that I could do tangibly to actually make myself feel better because people, you know, you're mentally ill, you're gay, you're autistic, you know. When you have anxiety and you have real anxiety that genuinely just like comes out of nowhere and comes on so strong, there's really not much you can do about it in the moment other than like, see 5 things, name 5 colors. Girl, that doesn't do anything for me. In fact, it makes me more anxious because I'm like, I can't find 5 colors. Oh no, what if I died? So working on medicine made me be able to like really sit down and work on art again because I was like, oh yes, the world is evil. The world is dark. The world is scary, but like, it's simply gonna be okay. And not, it's gonna be okay as in the issues don't exist anymore, but simply like, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be fine. Worst comes to worst, you die. That's not really the worst thing in the world. That sounds morbid, but there are worse things than death. And so it's just like, okay, if that happens, that happens. Obviously, I would not like for that to happen, but things happen. So because of that, I started just being able to work on music more and started to be able to get like I started to feel creative again because I started to feel like, oh, life is worth living. And so I started working on music again and I started just little by little like singing again. I could feel myself singing better because my breath control was better because I wasn't constantly holding my stomach like I've been doing this entire video, and that's kind of why I am out of breath. I also am just less insecure about my voice, so when I sing it feels better. It's just it's changed my life so much. I'm feeling very scatterbrained and like I don't really know how to drive this conversation home, but you guys get what I mean. So because I was working on that, I just could feel that I could work on music again, and I could feel that I could like get back into that world of things without it feeling pointless. And then fast forward a little bit. Once again, the timeline of events, girl, I'm yapping. I started watching Vanilla Mace at a certain point. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. You probably haven't. She's a small creator that no one's heard of. I started watching Vanilla Mace, and the way that she talks about her anxiety is so refreshing for me because it stems from a real place of, it's real. I'm sorry. Some of these influencers, some of these people talk about anxiety and they talk about X, Y, and Z, and it's like, girl, you're stressed. You don't have anxiety. Girl, you're this. That's not anxiety. With Vanilla Mace, it feels so like her like withdrawing from the streamer games and being like, I'm too anxious, I can't do it. It was so meaningful to me because I was like, girl, this is a woman who has an insanely huge audience. All of these people are watching her in person. Some people are like all these different things. And she still felt like she was able to be like, you know what? My anxiety is making this where it's harder than it needs to be. I'm not going to put myself in this position. We're going to end it and I'm going to do what's better for my health. Girl, that's magical. That is something I need to be doing. So then I was having a conversation with my friend and we were just talking about music and talking about things. And I had mentioned to them that I was working on a project that was songs that I had not finished that I just wanted to release. Because at a certain point, once I started working on the medicine, once I started having the medicine in my system and started working on music again, I started to be like, oh, okay. I've been in my head for too long for no reason. I just need to release an album full of songs that aren't finished so that way I don't have the pressure of like, oh, this is a perfectly finished song, here you go, world. It's like, oh, this is a song, here you go, world. Because the average person doesn't care. Caleb, the average person doesn't care. They don't care about the mixing. They don't care. I'm looking at myself. They don't care. And even if they do care, I don't care. I think that I've just really gotten in my head about, especially mixing and mastering, because I'm like, oh, there's too much trouble, there's too much this. And I'm listening to these tracks on this album, and I still feel that the mixing is not great. Girl, you know how many songs I listen to, the mixing is not great, the vocals aren't perfect? Like, it does not matter. Music is music, art is art, and I always have enjoyed every part of art with my entire being. So the fact that I have not let other people enjoy my art with every part of their being is rude and disgraceful. Like, girl, come on. So sometimes, for some reason, when I'm not recording, bro and bruh are like the words I use nonstop. I get on camera and I'm saying, hey girl, something about it brings out my girl, my inner girl. So I had started working on that project about like the songs that are not finished. Jesus Christ, can't speak. started working on the project with songs that were not finished, and I was talking to Rowan about it, and Rowan was like, okay, you low-key need to release Ultraviolent, though. Or maybe I brought it up, and they were like, confirm. I don't know. I called them a fan on my Instagram story of the song, and they said that I was weird for calling them a fan. Sorry, you are a fan. I was talking to them about that, and they were like, you should just release this song. Like, you've had this song sitting in your computer since March of 2021. It's been deleted once by accident. You've had to re-record it. You've had to remake it. You've already teased releasing it one time and then got so depressed that you couldn't finish it, so you just put in an Instagram poem about being like, sorry girls, I'm depressed. So I was like, I need to figure out a couple more things with Ultraviolent, and I'll see if I can put it on the track list. That was what I said to Rowan. We'll see what happens. And then I'm outside one night and I'm listening to Vanilla Mace, and she's talking and she's like, just do things scared. You're allowed to do things scared. You're allowed to not be good at things. You're allowed to not be perfect at everything you try. That's part of the process. And obviously when you're an artist, you know that. But to have another person that's also very anxious and outward with their personality and always trying new things, sort of reaffirm that in my brain, was definitely, it was like the last push I needed to be like, okay, put Ultraviolent on the album track list. Just release it. Put it at the beginning of the album. You know what? We're going to release it. We're going to release it. I'm very excited. I mean, it's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. It's one of my favorite songs I've ever produced. I think that it honestly, out of all the songs that I've made in my entire discography, it's the one that holds up the most from like the 2020, 2021 era. The synths, the beat changes, it feels like something I would produce and write now. And I can't say that for a lot of the tracks that I had written sort of pre-Chicago. I think the Chicago trip was like, oh, okay, I'm actually an artist. Wow, the 2023 Chicago trip. Pre that, I didn't feel that way. And so I need to get a fidget toy. I'm like unscrewing this pen. I'm like, girl, just get a fidget toy. So yeah, that is the really, really, really disjointed story on how Ultraviolent got on the album. Works in progress. Like I said, when it comes to filming, I'm not good at structuring my stories, and I'm not good at, like, getting a good grip of things. Things just happen, and I try to fix it in the editing room. I feel like I'm someone that it comes off so much better in person, but also I feel like I'm someone that comes off better on live. Whenever I have to record and film things, I don't feel like myself. I feel like an imposter syndrome, maybe. But this will come together in the edit, trust and believe.